Well, hello there and welcome back to This Week in Lacrosse. Ron, 2010, we're back.
Yep.
And we're starting this weekend. The NLL officially kicks off this Friday night. And it's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah, everything old is new again, Gary. The ever-changing landscape of the National Lacrosse League, new ownership in Toronto, teams moving, personnel all over the place for different reasons, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and that's one of the things I wanted to touch on before we get into. We're going to run our contest again this year for everybody that's out there that's interested, and we're going to give our fearless predictions again this week for Week 1, as well as our fearless predictions like we do every year for who we think is going to win the Champions Cup and who they're going to play against. But talk about an off-season that was busy. Good Lord! I mean, Toronto alone had new ownership, new coaching staff, new players, but I mean teams like Edmonton, teams like Minnesota, and I mean across the league, there's been a big movement.
Wow, you know, San Jose moving to Everett, Washington, their captain, their very popular Colin Doyle coming home to Toronto, get to see Zach Greer play in the National Lacrosse League for the first time. Derek Keenan, our friend from Whitby here in Edmonton.
Gavin Prout going.
Gavin Prout, you know, the face of the franchise in Colorado. You know, what else? Rochester, new ownership. Trading away the house to obviously try and get Cody Jamieson in the draft next year. It just goes on and on.
And I mean, so much that we're just going to kind of go into talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to fly all over the place with this. But let's start at Toronto. That's where we're closest to. New owner Jamie Dowick has put a brand new spin on the Rock. You've attended a function where he spoke and got to meet him personally. Seems like a very down-to-earth guy and a great head start here for the Toronto franchise.
Well, I had to talk to him, Gary, and his heart's in the right place. He loves the game. If anybody out there doesn't know, he's not only a businessman of sorts, but he's a professional poker player as well.
So trying to light up a game.
You know, it's people like that you know in professional sports that take a gamble, and he has taken a gamble. He's invested a lot of money. He's personally bankrolled 9 Toronto Rock games on TSN2 beginning Saturday. Is it Saturday night or Friday night?
Friday night.
Friday night from Boston, their home opener. See how well we're prepared. Now, really, I had that confused yesterday whether it was Friday or Saturday. Whatever. Getting back to
actually, it is Saturday night. Sorry, yeah, Saturday night.
Getting back to Jamie. You know, I stood and talked to him, told him what my philosophy about lacrosse was, and he completely agrees with me that the Toronto franchise in itself got a little bit fractured, and we lost the family feeling that you need to have in a championship organization. And he's gone out of his way to include people and get close to them and let us have our input. Congratulations to Terry Workman, who's now Mrs. Terry Giberson. She's been elevated to his right-hand person. I know Terry, I spoke to her on the phone a lot the last few days, and everything is going to be a lot different. We got different dancers, and all you folks out there that were used to the nicknames for the Toronto Rock, well, that has gone by the wayside. The players will be just known by their proper Anglo or whatever names they go by, but we're really looking forward to a big season.
And while we're congratulating, congratulations to the new voice of the Toronto Rock.
Thank you.
You're going to be behind there every game this year. I know you did a few games last year. I was fortunate enough to sit up there with you one time. It gets pretty hectic in there. It gets pretty busy. But you know what? I know you're really looking forward to it.
Oh.
And there's been a lot of people out there that I've seen on the fan forums congratulating you. So that's a great move for you. Great move for the Toronto Rock.
Yeah.
I know you can get fans excited.
Well, you know, I've been working on a lot of stuff, and I just put something together the last 48 hours that I mailed off this morning to the head office, that they're going to have a brand new opening, tailored along, maybe you people have come to my Green Gales games or my Bowmanville Eagle hockey games. You know, I always try and like to build things up right to that peak, the dramatic point, right where the two players are at center, either facing off or the draw, and gets the crowd right into it. And that's what I want to do. Crowd, get into it, folks. We need you. This has got to be a successful year for all of us, and I want to bring the championship cup back to Toronto.
And just while we're on that subject, just this morning I was actually on the fan forum. There's a bunch of people talking about, you know, get rid of the music, they're glad the nicknames are gone, etc., etc. And I made a post, and I'll defend it here, and I want to get your thoughts, so I'm not sure if you saw it. But, you know, I made a post that people in Toronto need to get off their hands. Because you go to a Buffalo Bandit game, and, I mean, they're too much the other way, maybe a little bit insane. But you talk about an atmosphere in a building. Now, I'll give you credit, probably the last 3 or 4 years, there's really not been a heck of a lot to get excited about.
No.
But as I put in my post today, you got Troy Cordingley behind the bench, one of the most, if not the most animated, excitable guy behind the bench.
Yeah.
You got this guy here trying to pump you up, and you've got, I think, what probably has been the #1 fan favorite for the Rock since day one. Colin Doyle's back in town, and he can get a crowd off their feet. All the things are there to get Toronto fans excited again.
And as everybody knows now, Colin's been named the captain of this year's squad. I haven't had a lot of interaction with Colin over the years, but the few times I have, Colin's a very personable guy. He's very animated in himself. I can only imagine that dressing room with Troy Cordingley and Colin Doyle in the same room together. They're going to breed an excitement into that room that I don't think a lot of guys that have come to the Rock and maybe just the last few years have ever seen before. Yeah. And it's going to translate onto the floor.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, for Colin Doyle, you know, you love him or you hate him, whatever. One thing I got to say for the guy, when he's out on the floor, you can tell he's having fun.
Yeah,
he's having a ton of fun, and if that can rub off, and as I said, that new feeling can rub off on some of his teammates. You know what? There's a good shot for the Rock this year.
And games back on TV, I know the players really like that because these guys are proud. You know, because a lot of we're people in the lacrosse industry. Gary has a job, I have a job, and so do most of the, nearly all the players, and that they're very proud of the fact that this is what they do. But they haven't been able to tell their fans or maybe an acquaintance at work or whatever. Now they can see them on TV. The whole thing just feeds on itself, and I can't wait for the season to start. And for all you guys out there that like the Rock dancers, they have 18 dancers this year. They're going to be in slightly different formations. Tiffany Richardson, the head dancer, has told me to watch out. And one girl in particular is a circus acrobat, and she is going to be performing some pretty cool tricks out on the floor there to entertain the crowd. And that's just one of the things we're going to do this year.
Wow. A little bit of a side note, though. 2 for the Show's gone.
2 for the Show are gone. That was one of the other changes we decided to make. They looked down the whole game night production, and they canvassed people. And the feeling was that Rob and Al are terrific guys and everything, but they're still going to be part of the post-game party. They're still members of the Rock family. Yeah. But that element of the game night presentation, it just kind of it had its day.
Right.
Yeah.
While we're talking about changes, let's slide out west and let's go to Edmonton. Brand new coach, Derek Keenan, brings in a few of his former players, most notably Brody Merrill, goes with him to Edmonton. And in comes Gavin Prout. And I want you to actually just talk about that, but I also want you to talk about out, when we talk about ins and outs, out is our old buddy Barks.
Yeah, Bruce Barker, and I've never been to a game in Edmonton, but I understand there was 2 people in the stands that were part of a morning show that were the same radio station as Bruce, Yukon Jack and Jillian, I believe their names were, and they're the people that played the crowd like 2 for the Show used to do in Toronto. But Edmonton Rush have decided to go with the local global television production crew. Now, whether that means that the games are going to be on global when the TSN2 with the Rock aren't there or not, I'm not sure. But it's one of those things, is Bruce and his friends work for this company, Global is the other one, and while they're not employees, they're not together. So the new voice of the Edmonton Rush in the arena is local sportscaster in Edmonton called John Sexsmith. And good luck, John. I know I just read recently that it's going to be your first crack at being a PA announcer, I believe. And I know if you're going to have, I've watched you on television before. I checked you out, and you do a great job.
Scouting them.
You do a really good job, and I can only wish you all success. Sorry, Barks. If any other teams out there are looking for a PA guy, you couldn't get any better guy than Bruce Barker. He's been my inspiration right from day one. And I'm quite sure many other guys out there that are PA announcers these days listen to Bruce intently like I did and help develop a style, use part of Bruce's style of their own. So.